Hi, Michelle DuPont here. I'm the 2025 Forms Chair, and here's your list of changes. We had 15 forms that had changes this year. I'm not going to go through all of them, just kind of hit the highlights, but there will be a link attached to this video that you'll be able to find all of the forms in detail. Our first one is the contingency. I feel like we look at this form every year, but this year we did make a couple of changes for the better. One, we want to make sure that the seller has the right to authorize whether or not the buyer accepts a contract that is contingent or not contingent upon selling their property. That is now a negotiable item and a checkbox that you'll be able to choose. The other thing that we've decided and added to the contract is that whenever you remove the contingency, we've said that that needs to be done in writing, along with copies of the contracts and the applicable addenda, along with a letter from proof of funds from your lender. On the exclusive right to sell, exclusive agency, exclusive transaction broker, we've made it so that in an effort to be more transparent and have the sellers give them their true options, we've added a few items here. Active with full distribution, that's where the listing is live in MLS and on all authorized third-party websites. Showings are allowed. Active with limited marketing distribution, listing is active but shown only on the MLS on the broker's site, and showings are allowed. Coming soon with full distribution, they are visible on MLS authorized third-party sites, but no showings are allowed. And then, of course, coming soon with no distribution, they're visible on MLS only. Still, no showings are allowed. We did also add private office exclusives with no distribution, and this is only on the MLS broker's site and not visible to anybody else. On the exclusive buyer agency contract, we've added a new paragraph 15, and then we renumbered accordingly. And this is allowing the buyer to understand their responsibility to get insurability on the property. We suggest and recommend to do this during the inspection period, and you're going to want to take into account the costs, the zones, the age of the property, as well as the roofs and everything included in that property. It's just another step to stress the importance to the buyers that it's their responsibility to do this, and we recommend during the inspection period. Inspection notice. We are trying to clarify here under paragraph 1 that the buyer has done inspections and they can ask the seller to treat for termites. That way it's more clear that they do accept it otherwise, except for the treatment of those inspections would destroying insects. Lead-based paint disclosure. EPA has given us some new guidelines that we had to include on our forms this year. So with that, we now have buyer acknowledgement initials that has been expanded to add that the option if the buyer has not received any reports. This was always a question before where we asked, okay, the buyer has received reports, but the seller said there were no reports. Now we have that option to say that the buyer has received reports. Also, the lead-based paint, we've noted in the contract that the buyer and seller have received the lead-based paint brochure and pamphlet. That way, it's already acknowledged in the contract that they have received that. In addition to that, on the agent's acknowledgments, we have initials for both the listing agent and the buyer agent acknowledgement that they've given those information to the seller in case you're working with an unrepresented seller. On the real estate contract residential, we did add, again, reminding the buyers that it is their responsibility to have the property insurability checked out during the inspection period. We want to make sure that the buyer understands that with the changing conditions of roofs and structural, that it is their responsibility to make sure that that property is insurability during the inspection period. Seller's disclosure and seller's disclosure for condos. We did make several changes, and we removed and have discarded the cold weather addendum. So what we've done is we've incorporated that into the seller's disclosure. There is a paragraph at the beginning of the seller's disclosure that now states, if this weather is permitting, that we cannot do the AC and HVAC conditions, that we're taking it on the seller's responses to those items in the seller's disclosure. In addition, we've added the month and the year that the lawn sprinkler system was used last. We want to make sure that if it's not in use now, when was it last done? And we also have added whether it was winterized or not. There's been a few issues where we did not know that that lawn sprinkler was not winterized, and it became apparent after the closing. Seller's disclosures, pool and spa rider, these have been updated and included some of those items that were from the cold weather addendum into the pool and spa rider. What we wanted to make sure is that you know the pump speed options, when it was last winterized, when it was cleaned and taken care of, if the pool closed, and the date of that winterization. We want to make sure that the seller is acknowledging that and the buyer is receiving that information. We did remove several forms for you. We've removed that cold weather inspection. We also removed the property limited marketing addendum. Be sure and take a forms class from KCRAR. You'll be able to see those in January and February, and the full list of changes is attached to this video. Thank you.